I need to tell someone what happened that night. Not because I'm proud of it, but because keeping it inside is eating me alive. My sister Maya texted me at 11:30 on a Tuesday. Can we talk? It's important. I was already in bed, scrolling through my phone next to Daniel, who was half asleep with his arm draped across my stomach. We'd been together for 3 years, and I loved the weight of him beside me, the steady rhythm of his breathing. Tomorrow? I typed back. Now, please. I should have known something was wrong. Maya never said please. I slipped out of bed, grabbed my robe, and padded downstairs to our kitchen. We'd been sharing an apartment for 6 months, ever since she'd broken up with her previous boyfriend and needed a place to crash. At 23, she was 4 years younger than me, but sometimes it felt like decades separated us. She was sitting at the kitchen table with a bottle of wine already half empty. Her eyes were red, but not from crying. From drinking. What's wrong? I asked, pulling out a chair. She looked at me for a long moment, her fingers tracing the rim of her glass. Do you ever wonder what it would be like to be with someone else? My stomach dropped. What? Not forever, just ... once, to know what you're missing. I thought about Daniel upstairs, probably dreaming about the camping trip we'd planned for next month. No, I said firmly. I don't. Maya laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. You're lying. Everyone wonders. You've been with Daniel since you were 24? Don't you want to know if there's something better out there? There isn't. How do you know? She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. Riley, I have an idea. Just hear me out. I should have walked away. I should have gone back upstairs, climbed into bed, and forgotten this conversation ever happened. But curiosity is a dangerous thing, and Maya knew exactly how to hook me. What idea? She smiled, and I saw the wine had made her bold. Jake and I were talking. About you and Daniel. About how you guys are so ... perfect. So stable. And we thought, what if we switched? Just for one night. The words hung in the air like smoke. I couldn't breathe. You want to sleep with my boyfriend, and you'd sleep with mine. It's fair. It's just one night, Riley. One night to satisfy that curiosity. And then we go back to normal. No harm done. I stood up so fast my chair scraped across the floor. Are you insane? I'm serious. She stood too, swaying slightly. Think about it. Jake is gorgeous. You said so yourself. And Daniel is... well, Daniel is everything I've ever wanted in a guy. Stable. Mature. Actually gives a damn. Then find your own Daniel. I'm not trying to steal him. Her voice rose, desperate. It's just one night. An experiment. We tell them it was our idea, that we want to try something adventurous. They'll probably love it. Get out of my kitchen. Riley. Go to bed, Maya. Sleep it off. And never mention this again. Maya. She stared at me, her jaw tight, and then she grabbed the wine bottle and left. I heard her bedroom door slam a moment later. I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to Daniel, watching the ceiling fan rotate slowly, thinking about what Maya had said, not because I wanted to do it, but because I couldn't believe she'd asked. The next morning I expected her to apologize, to blame the wine and laugh it off as drunken nonsense. Instead, she brought it up again over coffee. I meant what I said last night. Maya, Jake is on board. I told him this morning. She sipped her coffee, completely calm. He thinks it could be exciting. Something to talk about when we're old. You told Jake? I felt sick. Of course, it was his idea too, actually. We've been talking about it for weeks. Weeks. They'd been planning this for weeks. You need to leave, I said quietly. Find your own place. I can't live with you anymore. Her face crumbled. Riley, please. I just thought... you thought wrong. This conversation is over. She set down her mug, her hands shaking. Fine, but just so you know, Daniel might surprise you. Men aren't as pure as you think they are. That sentence haunted me all day. I tried to focus on work, on spreadsheets and emails and conference calls, but all I could think about was Maya's words. Daniel might surprise you. When I got home that evening, Daniel was cooking dinner. Pasta carbonara, my favorite. He kissed my cheek and asked about my day, and I almost told him everything. Almost. Instead, I said, Maya asked me something weird last night. Yeah? He stirred the pasta, not looking at me. She wanted to switch partners. Her and Jake, me and you. Just for one night. The spoon clattered against the pot. He turned to face me, his expression unreadable. What did you say? I said no, obviously. He nodded slowly. Good. That's crazy. She said Jake was on board with it. Jake's an idiot. I watched him carefully. But you're not tempted? Not even a little. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and I saw something flicker in his eyes. Something I didn't want to name. Riley, I love you. Only you. It wasn't a no. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I lay there thinking about trust and curiosity and the fragile thing we call commitment. I thought about Maya's red eyes and the way she said Daniel's name like a prayer. I thought about Jake with his easy smile and careless charm, and wondered if Daniel had ever looked at my sister and wondered what if. By morning I'd made a decision. I texted Maya. Okay, let's do it. She called me immediately. Are you serious? One condition, we set it up for this Saturday. You tell Jake, I'll tell Daniel. And afterwards, you move out and we never speak of it again. Deal. I could hear the smile in her voice. Thank you, Riley. You won't regret this. But I already did. I told Daniel that night, framing it as Maya's idea but saying I was curious too. That I wanted to try something adventurous before we got too settled. I watched his face carefully, looking for disgust or anger or shock. Instead, I saw relief. If that's what you want, he said slowly, I'm willing to try. Something inside me broke. Saturday came too quickly. Maya was practically vibrating with excitement, changing outfits 3 times and redoing her makeup twice. Jake arrived first, grinning like he'd won the lottery. He kissed my cheek and whispered, This is going to be fun. I felt nothing but nausea. Daniel arrived at 8, looking uncomfortable in a button-down shirt I'd never seen before. He'd dressed up for my sister. The thought made me want to scream. Maya had suggested we split up immediately. Her and Daniel in her room, me and Jake in mine. Quick, efficient, like ripping off a bandage. But I had other plans. Actually, I said, smiling sweetly, I thought we could all have a drink first. Talk about boundaries. Maya frowned. We already discussed boundaries. Humor me. I poured wine for everyone, making sure Maya's glass was especially full. We sat in the living room, the 4 of us arranged like we were about to play some twisted game. Which, I suppose we were. So, I said, looking at Daniel, you're really okay with this? He shifted uncomfortably. If you are. And Jake, you suggested this to Maya? He shrugged. It was mutual. We're young, why not explore? Why not? I repeated. I turned to my sister. Maya, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you love Jake? Her eyes widened. What? Of course. Then why do you want to sleep with someone else? She set down her wine glass. Riley, we agreed. I know what we agreed. I'm just curious about your motivation. I leaned forward. Because from where I'm sitting, it seems like you don't want to try something new. You want something specific. You want Daniel. The room went silent. That's not... You've wanted him since the day you met him, I continued, my voice eerily calm. You've always been jealous of what we have. And you thought this was your chance to finally have him, even if it was just for one night. Maya's face flushed red. You're being paranoid. Am I? I looked at Daniel. Tell me honestly, have you thought about Maya? Before this? He opened his mouth, closed it. The silence was answer enough. I laughed. It started as a small chuckle and grew into something wild and uncontrollable. Jake looked terrified. Maya looked frozen, her face pale as snow. Daniel just looked guilty. This is perfect, I said through my laughter. This is absolutely perfect. Riley, Maya started. No, let me finish. I stood up, still laughing. You want to know the truth? I never intended to go through with this. I've been planning this all week. I wanted to see how far you'd actually go. I wanted to see if Daniel would really betray me for one night with you. And, you know what? You both failed spectacularly. Daniel stood too, his face ashen. You were testing us? Of course I was testing you. My laughter died. My sister propositions me to swap boyfriends, and you think I'd just go along with it? You think I'd actually share you with her? But you said, I said what I needed to say to expose exactly what kind of people you all are. I looked at Jake. You're the only innocent one here, and that's only because you're too stupid to realize what was really happening. Maya was shaking. Riley, please, get out. My voice was ice. All of you. Get out of my apartment. This is my apartment too, Maya whispered. Not anymore. You have until tomorrow to pack your things. And Daniel? I looked at him. This man I'd loved for 3 years and felt nothing but emptiness. We're done. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't even think about me. Riley, we didn't actually do anything. You wanted to. That's enough. Jake left first, mumbling something about a mistake. Maya followed, crying now, begging me to listen. Daniel lingered, trying to find words that didn't exist. I love you, he finally said. You don't even know what that means. After they left, I poured myself a glass of wine and sat in the silence of my apartment. I thought about trust and betrayal and the way people show you who they really are when they think they have permission. My phone buzzed. A text from Maya. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I deleted it without responding. Then Daniel. Can we please talk about this? Delete. Then my mother. Because of course Maya had called her. What happened with your sister? I turned off my phone and stared at the wall. The thing about betrayal is that it doesn't always come with dramatic confrontations and broken dishes. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's a question posed over wine and the way someone's eyes light up when they think they have permission to want what they shouldn't. I finished my wine and went to bed, alone. And for the first time in years, I felt free. The next morning, Maya packed her things in silence. She tried to apologize again, but I pretended she didn't exist. When she left, she placed her key on the counter and stood in the doorway for a long moment. I really am sorry, she said softly. For what it's worth, nothing would have happened. I would have backed out. I looked at her then, this woman who shared my blood and my face and absolutely none of my values. But you wanted it to happen. That's the part you don't understand. The wanting is the betrayal. She left without another word. Daniel tried for weeks to win me back. Flowers, letters, showing up at my work. I ignored all of it. My friends told me I was being too harsh, that nothing actually happened, that I should forgive him. But they didn't understand. They didn't see his face when he agreed. They didn't hear the relief in his voice. 3 months later, I heard through mutual friends that Daniel and Maya were dating. The news should have devastated me, but instead, I felt validated. I'd been right all along. I ran into them once, at a coffee shop downtown. Maya looked guilty and scared. Daniel looked like he wanted to disappear. I smiled at them, ordered my latte, and left without saying a word. That night, I met someone new. A guy named Marcus who made me laugh and didn't carry any baggage from my past. We talked for hours about everything and nothing, and when he walked me home, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. I don't know if Marcus is the one. I don't know if there even is a one, but I know that I deserve someone who doesn't need permission to stay faithful. Someone who doesn't look at my sister and wonder what if. Sometimes people ask me if I regret that night. If I wish I'd handled it differently. I tell them no. Because that night taught me something valuable. Trust isn't about what people do when you're rewatching. It's about what they want to do when they think you're not. And I'd rather be alone than with someone who needs a test to prove their loyalty. Maya tried to reach out on my birthday. A long text about forgiveness and family and moving forward. I read it once, then archived it. Maybe someday I'll forgive her. Maybe someday I'll understand why she did what she did. But that day isn't today. Today, I'm sitting in my apartment, With no roommate, no sister, no boyfriend who fantasizes about her drinking coffee and planning my next adventure. Marcus wants to take me to Portland next month. I think I'll say yes. Life is strange. One conversation can change everything. One question can reveal the truth you've been avoiding. One night can set you free. I used to think that love meant holding on no matter what. Now I know it means knowing when to let go. And I've never been better at letting go than I am right now. Sometimes the best revenge isn't fire and fury. It's laughter, it's watching them squirm. It's walking away with your head held high and never looking back. That night, when Maya froze and I laughed, I wasn't just laughing at her. I was laughing at the absurdity of it all, the audacity. The sheer ridiculousness of thinking you could betray someone and have them thank you for the opportunity. I laughed because I was free. And I'm still laughing.